All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to get started here. My name is Mark Gensler. I'm an admissions counselor here at Simpson College. My territory is actually Northwest Iowa, Colorado, and the East Coast. So if you are one of my students that are on this call, please introduce yourself. It'd be great to meet you virtually. On this call tonight, we also have Rich Ramos, who is our Associate Dean of Students, and Nicole Darling, who is our Assistant Director of Student Activities and Intramurals. And then monitoring the chat is Laura Mueller, one of our Assistant Directors of Admissions here at Simpson. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go over the agenda for what we have tonight. Then we're gonna do a few more things, then we'll get into what we're here to talk about, which is student activities. So tonight, I'm gonna go over some general admissions information, kind of the nuts and bolts of what you need to know when applying for admission, a little about financial aid and some upcoming events that we have. Then I'll turn it over to my colleagues and they'll go over the campus life and student activities portion. And then at the end, we'll have a question and answer session where you can type, as we're going along, if you have any questions that come up, please type them into the chat box and we'll address them at the end of this presentation. So admissions. So Simpson College is a small private college about 25 minutes south of Des Moines, Iowa, which is Iowa's capital and largest city. 100% of our students do receive financial aid. We have about 1,200 full-time undergraduate students. Our faculty to student ratio is 12:1. So we really do offer that small class size here. This is not one of those schools where you can go and just be a number and sit in the back of the classroom. The professors are going to engage you in class because they really want to help you take ownership of your academics and really make that a part of you and be a part of it to help you through that. We also had 80+ majors and minors. Last year, 99% of Simpson College graduates were employed or in graduate school 6 months after graduation. So we do have an office that does help prepare you as you're starting to transition out of Simpson for job skill interviews and things like that. So that is also something that is available to you. And then we also have excellent internship opportunities. Being as our proximity is so close to Des Moines, we really utilize that as kind of our extended classroom, if you will. So a few things about admissions and kind of, what are next steps? What should you do? The first thing you should do is you should go online to simpson.edu and fill out your college application. We are a member of the Common App. So if you've already filled out a Common App, just log back in and select Simpson as one of the schools you'd like to send that to. If you're a senior and you are graduating soon, please make sure that we get your FAFSA immediately. That way we can issue you a financial aid award and we can really start talking those numbers with you. If you're a junior, you won't start filing your FAFSA until the fall. So, so once that happens, you'll want to make sure you want to select Simpson as one of the schools you want to send that to. So that, again, that way we can start issuing those to you and we can really kind of nail down exactly what it's going to cost you to go here. The next step then would be once we have your FAFSA, your admissions counselor is going to reach out to you to set up an individual one-on-one to kind of go over your financial aid. Here at Simpson, we really like to do it line by line, be very transparent about what the cost is, what you're going to be paying, and how we can help you do that. So just know that that is a part of our admissions process, is going through that financial aid piece. Then your next step would be to pay your $200 enrollment deposit. This is kind of your gateway to Simpson, if you will. It's where you get to unlock your SC Connect credentials, and that's where you'll sign up for your SOAR, which is the summer orientation and registration dates. This year, those have been moved virtually. And then with that, also, you'll be able to sign up for housing and then fill out any online medical forms as well. So that's all stuff that once you submit that $200 deposit, it unlocks that stuff for you. So we do, because of COVID-19, we have kind of pushed all of our stuff virtually for the remainder of the school year. So we do have upcoming virtual events. We actually have them scheduled all the way out through the end of May. So please visit our website to see the entire list of upcoming events. But for next week, we're doing academic resources and civic engagement. And then the following week is academic advising, finding the right fit for you, which is geared towards juniors who are really starting to ramp up their college search process. So maybe you haven't decided exactly which college you want to go to yet. So it's that's a good session for you to go to, because it's going to really give you those tips and tricks and pointers to try to figure out what's going to work for you. And then the last session we have that week is our religious life session. So those are kind of some upcoming events that we have. We are also pushing all of our in-person visits, personalized visits are being pushed to virtual visits as well. So if you want to have that one-on-one meeting with your counselor, or you want to meet with a faculty member or an athletic coach, or someone from the music department, for example, please reach out to your admissions counselor and we will go ahead and we'll set that up for you. And then we'll send you the link, and all you have to do is just log on. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it over to Rich and Nicole to kind of go over student involvement and campus activities. And again, if you do have questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat box and we will get to them at the end.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's visit. It's nice to see so many people here interested in student activities and campus involvement and all that sort of good stuff. In the interest of time, we're going to kind of scoot through this because I want to make sure that you all have the opportunity to ask any questions that you may have about student activities, student involvement, all those sorts of things, and any of the things that we're talking about. So if you want to go to the next slide. So under the umbrella of student activities, we have a lot of things that kind of fall under the umbrella of student activities. First, clubs and organizations. All of our clubs and organizations report to the student activities office. We work closely with them. We provide resources to them and any number of things. The Student Government Association also falls under student activities. I am the direct advisor to the Student Government Association, so I work closely with that group of students, as well as the Campus Activities Board, which is another group that I advise that works closely out of our office. Intramurals also falls under our office, and I'm going to let Nicole Darling a little bit later talk about the intramural program that we have, and then all of our fraternities and sororities on campus we will talk about, and we'll go from there. Hit the next slide. So in terms of clubs and organizations, we have 67 registered clubs and organizations on campus at the end of last semester. And we had about that many at the start of the spring semester. And a lot of times anytime we're around political years, we have a lot of political organizations that will pop up on campus. In case you haven't realized, we're an incredibly politically engaged campus on both sides of the aisle, which is really kind of exciting and gives a lot of opportunities for our students. But we also have a lot of social clubs on campus. Anything from your traditional group of students who want to hang out because they have a common interest in comic books or gaming or esports or whatever. We have those sorts of social clubs, but we also have a lot of academic clubs and sports clubs, as well as fraternities and sororities, and then, like I said a little bit ago, esports. The primary purpose in what we do with all these clubs and organizations is working it so that students can find a place that fit an organization that's right for them. And so one of the first things we do when new students are on campus in the fall, we have an event called OrgFest, where all of our clubs and organizations register and they're a part of it. It's a great opportunity for new students, but also returning students to go through and find an organization that kind of piques their interest and they're into and they're excited about. Also on occasion, students will go through our OrgFest and it's just like, we just don't have it. I didn't see anything that was really something I was into. And that's where we come into, because we want to work with students to find that right fit, and we'll work with them to create an organization that fits for them. So if they have an idea for something, we'll work with them to create that organization. We've done that numerous times over the year. We've had For example, several years ago, we had a student who wanted to do a skydiving organization, which, well, I'm not into it. It was something that some other students were, and it was here for a couple of years. And most recently, we had some students come in asking about creating a fencing club, which just received some funding from a student organization, and in the fall, we'll be starting out pretty good. So anytime a student has an idea to create something, we're always willing to work with them to create that organization with them. There are resources available for all of our clubs and organizations. We have, if you haven't been on campus, and when you get the opportunity to be on campus next, on the second floor of the campus center, there's an office called the Organization Suite. That's where a lot of our campus organizations work, and they work out of, and there are a lot of resources that we have available for student groups, whether it's a sound system that they need for an event, or it's a cotton candy machine, or a snow cone machine, or some way to print off posters, those sorts of things. We have a lot of resources for our clubs and organizations. And we encourage our groups to use that and take advantage of it. If you want to go to the next slide. So the other organization, as I mentioned at the start of this, was our Student Government Association. Our Student Government Association is essentially the governing body for all of our clubs and organizations, but they're more than just that. They're involved in all of our students on student government are involved in a lot of different ways on campus, whether it's on searches for new employees, or they are involved in like the helping of writing of the college mission statement, or any number of things. They're involved in a variety of ways. They also do oversee all clubs and organizations. As a matter of fact, right before this meeting, just got out of another meeting with our Student Government Association. It's our spring budget hearing, so it was talking and working with our clubs and organizations to help them secure funding for their activities for next year and maybe a little bit beyond. So it's basically the organization that oversees a lot of those things. And I think a lot of people have a comparison to student government to high school student council. And in a way it is, but in a way it isn't. A lot of high school student councils sometimes do programming and things like that. This group really doesn't necessarily do that as much. Their primary purpose is to act as a liaison between the students and the college. And so they're really spending a lot of time advocating for students and the student experience and doing what they can to make it as good as possible. So as far as positions in our student government, all positions are elected. For first year students, the elections are going to be in the fall semester. So when you would arrive on campus, probably within a week or two of arriving on campus, we'll have our elections sign up, and then the election process. There are a total of 5 positions available for each class. So there's 4 senators and 1 class president. And the elections will occur at the start of the first semester, and oftentimes we'll have students who are going abroad mid-year or something like that. And the second semester, we'll have an election to refill any positions. So if for some odd reason you're not able to get on in the fall semester, there may be an opportunity coming in the spring semester as well. And then lastly, we have regular weekly meetings that attendance is required, where the group of students get together and we do talk over issues. We talk over any number of issues associated with the college, any new initiatives that they're looking to get involved with. And they've been involved in a number of things, whether it's putting hydration stations on campus, or several years ago, they were directly involved in the renovation of holy grounds and things like that. So that's part of it. The other group that I work closely with is the Campus Activities Board. They are essentially one of the primary student social programming organizations on campus. They do everything like student live music, comedians, discounted movies, dances, trivia, all sorts of things. And again, today I was meeting with those students to kind of help find some live entertainment for the start of next year and the rest of next year. But it's a 100% student-run organization. So everybody who we bring to campus, every event that we have on campus is chosen by the students who sit around that table. So it's their decision on how they want to do it and what they want to do and all those sorts of good things. And also they're another one of the organizations that's funded by our Student Government Association. But I would encourage you, if you have an interest in being involved and looking for activities to keep other students involved, the Campus Activities Board is a really good organization to get involved with and to do that sort of thing. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, this is our intramurals and recreation, and I will turn it over to Nicole Darling to talk a little bit about our intramurals and recreation.
All right, welcome you guys. Thanks, Rich. I got to do a little shout out to Dylan. I'm also from Story City, Iowa, and I'm a fellow Norseman, so I saw that on the chat. So welcome you guys. This is a different format for us. We love to be able to have communication with you, see your faces, meet you guys during orientation. But for right now, we are going this route. So like Rich said, I mainly handle intramurals and recreation on campus, and we're just one of the organizations that he mentioned. So intramurals are basically all the recreational sports and activities on campus. That means, you know, your traditional football, basketball, volleyball type activities, along with some non-traditional things. We have about 70 different activities that we do a year. So we're staying busy, but we have some non-traditional things to maybe apply to some of those who maybe don't want to be as active, or maybe they think that they're not athletically inclined. But we have card games. One of our biggest activities is the Easter egg hunt, which we were unfortunately we could not do this year. But that's definitely something where, you know, you have an opportunity to be a kid again, and we hide like thousands of eggs, and you get to go find them, and there's prizes and everything that you find. But different types of activities that we hope to try to reach your interests in. We have about a 65% participation rate on campus. So it's also a great way to, one, have a study break, try to meet different people. We have all age groups that are participating, and it's a great way to stay active. It's a good study break as far as just going out, hanging out with your friends. And a lot of times when we're creating teams, especially when your first year, you're coming on, you're trying to meet people. We have teams that are created within their residence halls. And a lot of times those teams stay the same throughout their 4 years here. As you can see in some of these slides we have, they're holding up the intramural champion t-shirt, which is kind of a big deal on campus as far as that's our main prize that we give out, and that's what they get when they win. And so then oftentimes you'll see teams and people wearing those shirts the next day, sporting what activity they won. So we do an online registration process, and we too are also at the Org Fest, like Rich had mentioned, in the fall, where you'll be able to kind of go around and see some of those organizations you might want to be involved in. We also have student employees that work our events, and so they're refereeing, they're keeping score and things like that. So it's an opportunity to get involved that way. Then on the fitness side of things, we have a program called Simpson Fitness. It is free to Simpson students, staff, and faculty. They are fitness classes taught by our students. This is an opportunity for students that maybe want to start pursuing a career in recreation, or want to be a personal trainer or something in that wellness field, and they have an opportunity to create their own classes and instruct and guide and monitor their participants. And this is one way that we've worked with the exercise science department in getting students that want to maybe pursue an area in this field. We've also funded certifications. If students are wanting to get maybe certified to teach in some fitness classes, we've helped with that. And then they have taught for us during the academic year. We do have a $1 million facility. And if you guys haven't been on campus yet, our Stephen Johnson Fitness Center and cardio space and weight room is top notch. And it's a great way for us to utilize that space with our Simpson Fitness classes. I think the only thing about intramurals is it's open to anybody and you can participate. The only stipulation would be as if we are a D3 school, and a lot of participants are athletes, or and so if, for instance, if you were going to come here and play basketball for Simpson, you would not be allowed to play intramural basketball, but you would be eligible to play any other intramural activity. Other than that, it's definitely a great way to meet people and stay active and get involved. And it's fun. It's a little stress reliever and an opportunity for you to get out of your rooms and meet people and make that connection to Simpson, not only academically but socially. I think that's it.
All right. So thanks, Nicole. Our intramural program is really super popular with our students. Like Nicole said, a lot of our students are very engaged, and the thing with it, I think that a lot of people always think when they hear intramurals is that you have to be athletically inclined. I know that they do a number of things. Even if you're not athletically inclined or you're not into sports, there are a number of things that they do, whether it's like Tuesday night cards or the Easter egg hunt, which, as weird as it does sound, it is the largest event one of the largest events that they do that's hugely popular, and they take over the campus center and put thousands of eggs out, and it's a great event. So there are tons of things to do, and I would encourage any student to get involved in intramurals. It's a great opportunity. The last thing I kind of want to hit on that falls under student activities is fraternity and sorority life. On campus, we currently have 8 fraternities and sororities on campus. 7 of those organizations are national organizations, and 1 of them are local. And what I mean by the difference between national and local, national organizations have a national chapter that is national office that has chapters across the country on a variety of different colleges. And then the local means that they're exclusive to Simpson College and Simpson College only, and they're nowhere else. Most of our chapters have been on campus for more than 100 years. They have a long history, and we're proud of our organizations and what they contribute to our community, and also realize that all of them are here at the invitation of the college. So they would not be here if we didn't want them to be here and didn't feel that they offered a value to our community. Of our 8 organizations, there are 4 women's organizations, which are Delta Delta Delta, Pi Beta Phi, Kappa Kappa Gamma, and Sigma Lambda Gamma. And then our 4 men's organizations are Kappa Theta Psi, Alpha Tau Omega, Sigma Alpha Epsilon, and Lambda Chi Alpha. Kappa Theta Psi is our 1 local organization, and that local organization, as I said, has been on campus for over 100 years, and have consistently been a positive contributor to our community. And the 1 multicultural organization is Sigma Lambda Gamma. And what I mean by multicultural organizations, they were originally established as a multicultural organization with an emphasis to encourage multicultural students to get involved, but it doesn't solely mean that you have to be a multicultural student to be a part of the organization. They're open to any student who chooses to be a part of their organization. So, but those are our 8 organizations. As far as recruitment, we have 2 recruitment periods. There's our fall recruitment period and then our spring recruitment period. Our fall recruitment is a little bit more of a formal process and usually happens about 3 weeks in to the start of the fall semester. For women, there are 2 very different processes. There's 2 different processes. The women are considerably more organized and more formal, which really probably shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. And the men are a little bit more of an informal process where you come down, meet the men in the chapter, and hang out and those sorts of things. As far as sign-up goes, sign-up will start this summer. Probably mid-June is when we're looking to open up that sign-up. And the recruitment process for women is about a 3-day process. And for men, it's a little bit longer, again, because it's a very informal, come down, hang out at the house, get to meet some of the guys, those sorts of things. As far as recruitment goes, I know a lot of people sit there and think that recruitment really isn't the thing for me, or fraternity and sorority life isn't the thing for me. I would encourage any student to go through the recruitment process because it's a great opportunity to meet some other students, to meet other people on campus, get connected. just by going through doesn't necessarily mean that you're obligated to join a chapter. And that process, it's a mutual selection sort of process where you're looking to find an organization that fits for you, but they're also looking to find members that are going to be a right fit for them. So our hope is that everybody's going to find their right place to be on campus, and hopefully it's one of our fraternities and sororities. The process, again, it's open to anybody who wants to sign up, and I encourage any student to go through the process. Spring recruitment is 100% more of an informal process, and we work with our chapters to get that information out about how our informal process works for both men and women. When it comes in terms of housing of our fraternities and sororities, almost all of our chapters have a house, and 2 of those chapters have houses that are not Simpson College property, but they function in a way that's very similar to the college housing and all that sort of stuff that goes with it. In terms of other things, in terms of fraternity and sorority life at Simpson, when it comes to costs vary from chapter to chapter, but when the fall, when people start to go through the recruitment process, we ensure that all of the people who are going through have a chance to see what the costs are for a semester, in terms of housing cost or that sort of thing. The costs are pretty comparable to what you would pay living in a campus residence hall as opposed to a fraternity or sorority house. So with that in mind, knowing that this is only scheduled for a half hour, we're happy to take any questions. We're open to anything you have to ask about any of the things we talked about, maybe beyond, if we can answer it.
Yeah, so go ahead and just type those questions in the chat box, and we will go ahead and answer them like they said. One thing I do want to encourage you is to follow us on social media. So follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, these will also be uploaded to our social media sites, and make sure you follow the hashtag #OneSimpson. That's ONE Simpson. That's how you'll be able to stay kind of up to date. So we had a question from Chase that said, do you have to live on campus to join a fraternity?
No, absolutely not. You don't have to live on campus to join a fraternity. You can really live anywhere. And we have commuter students who've chosen to join a fraternity and live off campus. We have students who've lived on campus, lived in a chapter. So no, I think that they're, again, they're looking for people that are right for their chapter. So no, you don't necessarily have to live on campus to do that. The next question is there somewhere online where you can see and read about the clubs offered at Simpson? Currently, at this point, no, as our organizations change pretty regularly. I would encourage you, though, I know that the admissions office shares a lot of information about our clubs and organizations, and you can always reach out to the student activities office. Because our clubs and organizations, in some cases, are changing pretty significantly all the time. So like I said, this year was a political year, and we had a lot of clubs and organizations around politics. Some of those organizations change as the landscape changes. So it varies from year to year, but we definitely communicate that out to students once they arrive on campus, and we also communicate it out to students in the summer when they come to our student orientation dates.
All right, and then I got a question in here. I think this would be for Nicole. Do we have a bowling team at Simpson?
Oh, we don't have a bowling team or a sports club team for bowling. We used to have a bowling. Well, there was potential to have a bowling alley, I guess, in Indianola. We don't have one currently. We have done bowling, and we used West Des Moines bowling alleys to do that. It's definitely would be an option maybe if you wanted to start a club, but currently we do not have bowling. And I also would like to add, when we were talking about that, as far as follow us on social media now. I mean, you can follow Intramurals, SGA, you can follow a lot of our clubs and organizations on our social media sites right now to see what we're doing. I know Rich had mentioned in a past session, you know, like SGA, they stream their meetings that you can find. So you can get a lot of that information on our social media sites kind of what we're about. But as far as bowling, we don't have bowling right now. I'm up for it though.
So are there different levels for intramurals, like beginner, middle, and expert?
I would say we have divisions. We don't typically do like an A, B, or C division as far as is beginners or something like that. It's not like you don't have, there's no practices or anything. It's just a show up and play type activity. We do have divisions as far as women's, men, and co-ed divisions in most of our activities. So there's an opportunity there. But I definitely would encourage you to, nobody's a professional of anything that we do. And a lot of the games that we play are more just like backyard games, things that you probably play maybe in your PE class and things like that. But I would encourage anybody to participate, whether you think you may be a beginner or such. But as far as divisions, the only division we have for basketball, we have a men's A and a men's B division. But other than that, we just have our co-ed men and women's divisions.
All right. And then we had a question. So what is your college best known for? Science, math, sports, etc. So with this, we some of our larger majors on campus are our business major, the sports and exercise science major, or sports management major, sorry. And then with that, we are also a Division III school for athletics. So with that, we don't offer athletic scholarships, but if you keep in mind, our academic scholarships do kind of make up for that. So that's kind of where we are with those. You can find out more about the different majors and stuff. Reach out to your admissions counselor, and they will be able to set you up with a professor in those specific areas to answer any specific questions that you have about any of that stuff.
And I'll answer this one. Can you participate in multiple intramural sports? Heck, yes, you can. You can participate in as many as you want. Definitely welcome that. And we have several participants that play in multiple things. So yes.
All right. Are there any other questions that anyone has? All right, well, thank you for joining us tonight, guys. If you have any questions, again, please reach out to your admissions counselor. We will funnel those questions to whoever they need to go to, and we'll get you in touch with the people that can answer any of those questions for you. Thank you for joining us, and have a good evening.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just type it here.
Oh, is there another one?
Well, there's one more, but it's free to
Sorry.
play intramurals. It's free to play intramurals, so you can, there's no cost.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Thanks, you guys.